guys, it's Jazz1122 here, and this reading is for the Aquariuses out there for November 8th to the 14th. I would like to say thank you guys so much for your likes, your comments, and to all my new subscribers, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here. And with that being said, let's get right into this video. We have blessings and transformation number 11. 46. That equals 1. Aquarius. You have some pivotal changes going on. Let me tell you. Some of you guys have went through like Pluto transformation. With Pluto energy, it's like destruction. I feel like, but the destruction laid for a new foundation. So Aquarius, you're going to see, especially because Jupiter is finishing his rounds in Aquarius. And also with the planets going direct to Aquarius, you definitely, because I seen in y'all cards, y'all had a trying year, especially with Saturn in Aquarius too. And with the Pluto here, through those changes you went through, it really brought you more power. Because Pluto's power. And with the blessings here, the universe is about to drop this on you. When we go through Pluto moments, it can absolutely, in Saturn, be a soul-wrenching process that you just wish would just end. When it just seems like everything around you just hangs in so much uncertainty. But the universe wants you to know that all this is starting to come full circle. See, when we're going through, it's hard for us to see the end, but the universe sees the end. And the universe knew that no matter what challenges that you came across, Aquarius, you would be victorious. And Mercury retrograde reinvention. Aquarius, you're in the space where you have reinvented a lot, I'm sure. Especially with Mercury, you're thinking, how you see things, how you view the world, how you view yourself. With the changes I would say you guys have went through, really look at it. Because Saturn been in Aquarius since December 2020. And if you look back from about a year ago, Aquarius, look at what happened. If you had any foundations, networks that fell apart, losing homes and this and that, Saturn deals with our foundations. And that it will lead to your transformations, And transformations are never easy. Sometimes they're the most excruciating process. But I promise, once you get through them on the other side, I know that you guys have experienced that one part of another in your life when you had other trying times, Aquarius, that you felt you couldn't make it. Think back over those times during this week. Honestly, that's what the universe is saying. And especially if you had a rough time this past year. Look at where you was in December 2020 and where you are now. Despite all the setbacks, the disappointments, the frustration, the nights where you couldn't sleep. When you give birth to something, Aquarius, think about it. When a woman gives birth is one of the most beautiful experiences, how she brings life into this world. And birthing our new life is exactly the same way. Just like when a woman goes through contractions, that's what you've been going under. Contractions, Aquarius, where, when the woman, she's just in pain, but the baby's about to come. The blessing, look. the blessing. You have been going through contractions in your life, Aquarius, because you were giving birth to something that big. Think about it. And just like the mother, after the contractions are over, you know, and she lays in that hospital bed and she holds that baby, and tears run down her face that this human came out of her. You know, like this human came out of me. That's what you're going to look at with these blessings. That you gave birth. You was giving birth, and birth is painful. I don't know personally, but I've heard. I've heard, you know. And it's through the moments of the pain, but then they're replaced by tears of joy. Oh, that's so beautiful, Aquarius. Because Aquariuses have been going through a lot, because we're going to the age of Aquarius. You guys are the leaders. Like, Aquarius energy is what the world is reaching to get to. So you guys are the front runners, and Saturn is going to make sure that y'all are equipped to be strong, to be fearless, to be persistent, to be focused. And that means endurance. And I feel the past year, your endurance and perseverance has been tested in ways that are beyond belief. But believe me, Aquarius, when you also look back on past times in your life, you gave birth to other things in the past. Things that you felt excruciating. But you gave birth to new beginnings. You do it all the time. But see why this one is so pivotal is because Saturn is in Aquarius. Then we're going to have Pluto. So you guys are going to be the front runners for the collective. You guys are the example of unconditional love and acceptance. See, in freedom, it's about us. It's about we. It's not just about me. That's why I love Aquariuses, because especially they make great doctors and nurses, because let me tell you, my aunt is an Aquarius. And when my grandmother was on pretty much, oh my gosh, on her deathbed, you know, my aunt was the head of the family, and she's an Aquarius. She was the best person. Let me tell you why. Because she said, it's time to pull the plug. See, that's where Aquariuses are great, because they put other people suffering. See, other people may have wanted my grandmother to stay like in pretty much in like a vegetable state, just because they didn't want her to pass on. But see, Aquarius would be the one and say, listen, this person is suffering. See, we have to get out of how we feel. And that's why the opposite sign of Aquarius is Leo. You know, when we get wrapped up too much in Leo energy, we can become selfish, you know? And where we only think about ourselves. And that's where the world is getting out of, where it's just about me, 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 me. You know, do this to make me, me, me. And it's just a bunch of me's. It's not a bunch of we's. So even though that was a hard decision, my aunt was the best person for it. Because, mind you, she's watching her mother be on the deathbed too. You know, that's not easy of a decision to make. When you're watching your mother, you don't want her to go too, but Aquariuses will do what's best for all. Especially higher vibrational Aquariuses. When you see higher vibrational Aquariuses, they are absolutely the most beautiful, unique people you will see, and they will inspire you to embrace your uniqueness. That's why, Aquarius, the world is leading, following you guys. And you are the example That reminds me of the reading I did. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Grand trying blessings. See what I'm saying, Aquarius? You see this? This 9 of Cups. You see these people watching? See, Aquarius, your energy is contagious. And the universe know that you have no problem sharing your blessings with people. See, it's a blessing to be a blessing. And that's how you be blessed. You're not blessed when you're like this. You're blessed when you're like this. The universe knows when we even... Now let me explain. We do have people who give like this, but their intention is really like this. They're only giving because they want to still hold on to something. But see, Aquarius, the universe know you give like this. You give with no strings attached. No, like holding things over someone else's head. When you do things for people, Aquarius, because you want to show that they care, that you care about them. And you do have people watching you. You don't even know how you are an inspiration every day. Even though you may have had a trying year, maybe for some longer, is it not still a powerful feeling that none of that broke you, Aquarius? Really think about it. It might have broke you down, but it didn't knock you out. Take great power in that. You know how strong that makes someone? And I know because we want to be like, we're tired of being strong. But sometimes in life, that's all you have at the moment. And there will be a time where you can ease up on that. You don't have to hold it together completely. But there are times in life that we should absolutely be prepared to be strong and stand firm in who we are and stand in our power and command that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Like that reading I did last week. No weapon formed against you has prospered regardless. You still here. 9 of Cups. See what you see these blessings? I said you was giving birth, Aquarius. 10 of Pentacles. The ancestral wealth. That makes, yeah, absolutely. This also ties into the ancestral beneficiary readings that I've been getting. Sorry about my camera. I don't know why it's been doing that, but sorry. So with the 9 of Cups here and the 10 of Pentacles, you have been unlocking ancestral wealth. And your ancestors was going to make sure you was fit and equipped for it. Because it's a high honor. It really, really is. When you are the one that the ancestors been waiting for. You are the one that was meant to change the whole thing. Is that going to be an easy process? Especially some of you guys come from poverty, broken homes, abuse. Breaking those cycles are never easy at all. But see, you are the one that they've been waiting for. And through you breaking these situations in your own life, in your bloodline, Aquarius, you help others too. Do you know how big of a blessing that is? We all could use an inspirational story, Aquarius. Some of y'all got some inspirational stories where y'all will gather people to you. Some of you are meant to be community leaders, involved in reshaping and reforming the world. Some of you legit have no idea. And you start to feel like, me? You know, it's just like, I'm going to share this with y'all. I feel this was a message for me, but I feel some of you guys could use it too. So I was watching this video, and the person was talking about Gideon in the Bible. Now, I never heard of Gideon in the Bible. You feel me? So I was intrigued. And the way he broke it down was the fact that, wait, hold on. I'm going to get this. Okay. So with Gideon, right, the angel came to him and said the Lord is with him and that he would win the war to free the Israelites. Now, the Israelites was under a 7-year rule, under the, what's that? The Midianites, I think. That's what they're called. It was a powerful army. And this was a huge synchronicity for me, because in my readings, I talked about, I forgot which one it was, where I said a person with 500,000 can beat a person with 1 million, and it's up to strategy. And then I also said in another reading, when I said I asked God, if there's a God that I talked about in 2010, I did this in another video, but when I asked God, if there is a God, why does God allow this to happen? I kid you not. That's what Gideon asked God. And I said, oh my gosh, I talked about when I asked God, like, I just talked about that last week, so it blew my wig back if I wore one. I said, oh my gosh. So I was reading the story, and with Gideon, right, he was against a whole army of people. And he asked God for signs to show him what's going on. So God answered him. And then God had an army for him. But then God said, if people drink with their hands, trust those people. And no, first he said anybody that's scared, he told Gideon to tell them to go home. So he lost mad soldiers. Then it went into the soldiers that drunk the water, who was still alert, and everyone else who wasn't alert had to go. And then on top of that, this man was left with an army of 300 people against hundreds of thousands of people. Gideon still followed what God told him to do. And this is such an inspirational story, because God told Gideon to make a bunch of noise, to create a distraction for the Gideonites. You know, I think that's what they're called. The other army. And the other army was confused, so much so that they started attacking each other. And Gideon won the war that way. I kid you not. If you look at the story of Gideon, that is such... when God dropped that story on me, because it made me realize a lot about my life, bro. It seemed like I was always like, God would be like, all right, Jazz, we gonna have you. I'm gonna take this, do that. And I always felt I was outnumbered. I always felt like I was the underdog, but the power of it was the power of God. God wanted to put Gideon in the position where Gideon couldn't take credit just by himself for that defeat, because the Israelites was calling out to God, and God heard the prayers, and that's why God chose Gideon. And it seemed like all the odds was against him. And I say this to say that, well, what I'm about to say now, Aquarius, this story came to my mind for you guys. You may have been Gideon, where God seemed like he told everybody to walk away from you and you was on your own. But let me tell you something. God cleared your circle for a reason. Because even though that other army had hundreds of thousands more than Gideon, Gideon had 300 people. He beat that army. Why? Because God was on his side. That shows no matter what man tells you, no matter what weapons formed, it doesn't matter. When God says you have the victory, you do and you will. And all Gideon had was God's word. But when God proved himself, that's when Gideon said, oh my gosh, this is real. And I feel like a lot of you guys have been Gideon. But just like how God stripped Gideon, it looked like Gideon was losing all these soldiers, but them soldiers wasn't solid. See, you would rather have a solid team of 300 than an unstrategized 100,000. Because that's why those people turned on each other. And Gideon won the war and he freed the Israelites. I forgot what the Israelites did to be in that position where they was under the rulership of that army. And they were suffering. They had to hide through caves and stuff like that. Definitely check out that story, you know. And even though I'm spiritual, I love the stories in the Bible. Because I can take them as a real life meaning. I don't have to be religious. I don't have to be Christian to still appreciate the stories in that Bible. Because they're truly inspirational, honestly. And we can relate to them in one way or another. That's why I love the Bible stories. Because they're inspirational. 10 of Pentacles. We have the Empress. See, you protected, Aquarius, with the Empress here. Let me tell you. So it may seem, Aquarius, that everything was stripped from you. But God was going to make sure you had everything you need so you can secure that victory, just as Gideon did. Pluto transformation. We have the Ace of Swords. This is similar to the Sagittarius reading where I talked about, despite the obstacles, I feel this is not the rock head for this one either. It was through all the obstacles you faced. You didn't give up. Some of these battles cut you deep too, because Aquarius is y'all strong. But some of that sword, y'all did get hurt on this journey. But that's all transforming. Because the universe was always with you. Just like the universe was with Gideon. And this man had an army of 300. Imagine that. Imagine you facing an army of 130,000 people. And God tell you, well, you got to tell these people to go, these people. But, see, he still won. Ace of Swords. 4 of Swords, yeah. And look at the ancestors. I always say that. Whenever you feel stressed out, Aquarius, I promise you could talk to your ancestors. They there. They with you. They look over you while you sleep too. Aww. 4 of Swords. Yeah, they talk to you. The Page of Swords, they talk to you. So what kind of signs and synchronicities have you been seeing, Aquarius? Page of Swords. I might name it the story of Gideon. Yeah, definitely. Your ancestors are here to help you build true wealth. You see these, you got the Queen of Pentacles, the 10 of Pentacles. You want to know what's crazy, y'all? Remember how I talk about giving birth? Ain't that what the Empress does? She gives birth. Wow. Wow. This is such a beautiful spread. Aquarius. Reinvention. See, with this Knight of Wands, Aquarius, this gonna be you. You're going to be renewed and feel even more passionate. You're going to have some pep in your step, man. That's what's up. Feeling inspired and ready to make moves. That's what I take as that Knight of Wands. Oh, okay. And you got the King. That's what I'm talking about, Aquarius. These blessings here is going to light you on fire. They are. And I'm all for it. Any great things that happen to y'all, you absolutely deserve it, Aquarius. I couldn't imagine. You know, it's a lot of pressure. King of Wands. Look at that. The Ace of Swords. You see this big hand. This is the universe hand. Any battles that you fight, this goes back to the story of Gideon. Trust that the victory is yours. Just as God told Gideon that the victory was his. And this man was facing 130,000 people. And let's see. Why is the Ace of Swords here? And, sorry, this card fell. That Eight of Wands. This is going to come in fast, Aquarius, and unexpected, but it's the universe doing. That is so beautiful, Aquarius. And let's see. What are final messages for Aquarius? That's right. The universe is saying confidence is your key to success. New moon in Leo. Meditate and contemplate. New moon in Pisces. And the answers you need are coming. See, this is the answers you need, Aquarius. That the universe was with you the whole time and the victory was always yours. There's always a method to the madness, Aquarius, and you're going to see why. So, I hope you guys appreciate this video, and I'll catch you guys later.